friends. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lynn and this is Bucket List Homestead. Today starts week 3 of Three Rivers Pantry Challenge. Wow, today is the third week, start of the third week. So I've only been showing suppers and a few things here and there, but now that we're into week 3, definitely starting to run out of some things. And one of the things I love is Greek yogurt. I buy plain Greek yogurt and I flavor it with a little bit of homemade jelly. And then if we have some fruit, I add fruit in it. But I always add granola, especially if we don't have any fruit. And I love, there's a granola I get from Costco. I don't know the name. I just see the bag and grab it. And I like Nature Pass too. But I'm all out of that. So I'm also, and what I did in anticipation of this challenge, I froze 2 containers of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. I've taken one out of the freezer. Apparently it freezes well. I've never frozen it before, so we're going to see. And I got it at a really good price. So if this works, when I start seeing it on sale, I'll definitely throw it into my freezer because we go through a lot of it. Easily 1 to 2 tubs a week. So I'm going to make my own granola to top my yogurt. We're all out of my convenient yogurt. And just looking over this recipe, this is so easy. I don't know why I'm not doing this all the time. So, the first thing we need is 4 cups of oats. And I have my oven preheated to 375, I think it said. Where is that? Where is it? Yeah, 350. Whoops, 350. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting to think this wasn't a big enough bowl. I still have to add a lot more stuff. So we're going to get the big bowl out today. There. Okay. 1.5 cups of, so I have these almonds left over from Christmas that I never got around to using. So I'm going to use it now. Probably going to be the whole bag. So that's a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4, and I don't have any pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds left. So I'm going to use some chia seeds and some flax seeds. You know what? It was the whole bag. Okay, so there's some slivered almonds. Teaspoon of salt. So I've been having a lot of problems with the microphone. Oh, my last day, week 2 recording for the Pantry Challenge, the mic went in and out. So now I have to do some creative editing for that, so I can get that posted up to you immediately, as soon as I can today. And so I just want to know if you can hear me okay without it. Could you let me know in the comments? And if you're hearing me fine, then I won't bother with it anymore, because this is like the 3rd time I thought the sound was recording and it wasn't. So. Okay, so that was a teaspoon of salt, and we need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. That's actually a teaspoon that I'm using. Okay. And so 1/2 cup, I already melted it. This is melted coconut oil. You can use olive oil, sunflower oil, avocado oil, whatever oil. I'm using coconut oil because A, I like it, and B, I have a ton of it. So, and then 1/2 cup of maple syrup or honey. I have a lot more maple syrup than I do honey. So, and I like the flavor of the maple syrup. So we're going to do maple syrup. So 1/2 cup of the maple syrup. It is cold here today. I don't know if it's cold where you all are, but it is very cold today. We woke up this morning and it was minus 26 Fahrenheit, minus 32 Celsius. That's cold. Even my husband, who takes forever to say it was cold, said it was cold. And I also am wearing my new apron from my friend Rhonda that I picked up yesterday. I love these. She made my Christmas one I was wearing a lot last month with the red truck and everything. So I actually picked up 2, and this is one of them. And it's got cute little hearts and it says kisses on it for Valentine's Day. I love these aprons. She does have a website. I think I'll link that in the description box with this video. I had a few people ask me about them. They're very reasonably priced and they wash great. I just wash mine and then hang them to dry, and I washed my truck one a lot last month and it looks great. So yeah, so I love them. So thanks, Rhonda. Okay, so that was that. Oops, supposed to put some vanilla. I gotta go grab my vanilla. I thought I had all my ingredients ready, but I didn't. Now, if I can just get this open. David, did you come open my vanilla for me? And you can add dried fruit. I don't have any, so I'm not going to put it in. This is where I'm going to put in some chia seeds. So I'm going to do about a 1/3 cup of chia seeds. Thank you. Teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. 1/3 cup of chia seeds. So it was 2/3 cup of dried fruit, so I'm just doing a 1/3 cup of chia and a 1/3 cup, whoops, need a little more, 1/3 cup of whole flax seeds. Again, these are things I need to use up. They've been in the refrigerator for a little bit, so time to use them. And then I'm going to use, oh, this one's dirty, but 1/2 cup of, these are cocoa nibs. I love these, especially on top of my yogurt. Okay. And coconut. 1/2 cup of coconut. Love coconut. And this is unsweetened coconut. And this is shredded. Okay. Big spoon. I'm going to stir this all up. So one thing bad about the coconut oil is it's already solidified a bit. So we're going to have to break it up. That cold maple syrup probably made it. So this is going to make a lot of granola. It says you can keep it at room temperature for 1 to 2 weeks, or in a sealed bag or container in the freezer for up to 3 months. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to freeze it, leave out little bits at a time, 1 to 2 weeks, about a week's worth. It definitely makes a lot. Alright, so this is going to go in a 350-degree oven for 21 to 24 minutes. And then we let it rest for at least 45 minutes. So I'm going to get this in the oven. I have a big cookie sheet over there, one with some parchment ready. Wash my hands. Okay, so I got this big cookie sheet here lined with parchment, and we're just going to spread this all out. It didn't say to line with parchment, but you know what? I think it was a moot point anyway, because I have a feeling this is going to go all over the cookie sheet. But it's on there, so I'm going to leave it. Yeah, this is a lot of granola. Okay, so we're going to bake this for 20 minutes. Let it cool for 45, and we'll see how it turns out after the 45 minutes it's cooled down, because it said to let it cool completely because it will crisp up more after you take it out. So we will try it. Just wanted to show you how it looks going into the oven. It's actually quite lovely looking. So, okay. We'll see you in about 45 minutes. No, an hour. We'll see you in about an hour. Okay, it just came out of the oven after about 20 minutes, and I forgot to turn it down to 375. So it's not burnt, thank goodness. So yes, 350. Make sure it's at 350. It smells really, really good. So the directions say this will crisp up as it cools over the next 45 minutes. So we'll see. It's crispy, but it's still soft. So, okay. I'll see you back here in about 45 minutes. So I let the granola sit for a lot longer than 45 minutes. It took over a good hour for it to cool, but there it is. I crumbled it all up. I'll be putting it in a big mason jar. And I'll probably add 1 or 2 tablespoons. And when I have my yogurt tomorrow, I will film it and we'll see how the yogurt held up for being frozen. And I did taste it. It's not bad. I would add even more cinnamon and maybe a little bit more maple syrup. I mean, the yogurt I'm using has no sugar in it. It's plain, so it needs a little something. But there, granola that I didn't run out to the store and just buy a pre-made bag of. So actually, it's pretty good. It does need a little bit of sweetener. I think I'd add a little bit more maple syrup, but it's not bad. So there. I will test this tomorrow with my yogurt and we'll see how it went. We'll see you in the morning. So, Pantry Challenge Week 3 starts today. I did that granola for breakfast. And tonight, super simple, we're having chicken quesadillas. And I have leftover chicken from the roasted chicken I made 2 nights ago. And all I did was, okay, so normally this would be raw chicken. You would fry it in your pan and add some fajita seasoning. Where this was already cooked chicken, I just sprinkled some fajita seasoning over the cooked chicken, shook it up in its bag. Gonna let that sit for a bit. I have our tortilla shells. They're a little bit banged up. They've been in the freezer for a while, so it's good to be using these up. So I have them ready, and I have some cheese. Normally we'd use cheddar, but we're out of cheddar. And I'm just frying up some bell peppers. One, to get all the moisture out, because these are from last summer. They were in the freezer, so they have a lot of moisture in them. And I like them to be soft. And I don't find they cook as much when they go in the oven. So, we're just going to pile them up. Put a lid on top of each one. Put them in the oven. Bake them. Oh, probably 10 minutes or so. And, yeah. That's supper tonight. Easy peasy. We're running out of things. I might add a few other things if we had them, but this is it. But that's okay. We had pizza last night, so it was kind of a heavy meal, so I don't mind not having too many things. So, but I know some people add some onion. You could add the guacamole. I've only got one little thing of guacamole left, and I'm saving that for tacos next week. So I'll show you when they come out. Very simple recipe tonight to start week 3, and that is fine with me. So I cooked the bell peppers till they just had a little bit of brown on them. Put some chicken, some cheese, gonna top them up into the oven until the cheese melts, and the chicken heats up, which will probably be about 15 minutes. And I'll see you when they come out. Quesadillas just came out. The shells are a little bit toasty and the cheese is all melty. So that is supper for the start of week 3 with the Pantry Challenge. I can't believe we're starting week 3. It's going by quick. So I will see you tomorrow morning when we try the yogurt that I froze with the new granola, with the homemade granola I made today. See y'all tomorrow. summertime, and it is day 16 of Three Rivers Challenge. And tonight we're doing sloppy joes, homemade sloppy joes, not from the can. I've made this recipe before. We liked it, but we found it was a tad sweet, so I am going to adjust it a little bit. I will share with you the recipe that I printed off, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to adjust it. So, the first thing we need, I'm going to get my frying pan going. I'm going to move my tea kettle out of the way. Okay, so this recipe you need a pound of lean ground beef. I was going to put the onion in, but my husband's not a fan, so I'm not going to add the onion. I do have some bell peppers, garlic powder. It says prepared yellow mustard. We don't have any. We really don't eat it, but I have dry mustard, so we're going to use that. 3/4 cups of ketchup, brown sugar, and that's it. So we're getting this pan heated. Fry this up, and it says to like drain off any grease and stuff from the hamburger, but this hamburger we got from our local farmers does not have hardly any grease. While this cooks, we're just going to chop up some bell peppers. I need to get my knife. You need something?
No.
Do you want one there or something?
No.
Sun's a little shy today, I think. Okay, so I'm going to cut these up. These were frozen. Sloppy joes. And with the sloppy joes, we're having baked potato. Show you right there. I already had them baked. It's more than my husband and I need, but if you're going to bake a couple potatoes, baked potatoes, you might as well bake a few of them. There's the bell pepper. So while this finishes cooking up here, I'm going to go get the rest of the things I need. Okay, so while the hamburger's cooking up, I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1 teaspoon of the dry mustard. 1, 2, probably a little bit more, but it's okay. 3/4 cups of ketchup. So I'm just going to eyeball that. Let's go 3/4 there. Now the recipe calls for 3 teaspoons of brown sugar, but like I said, we found it a little bit sweet, so I'm only going to add 1 teaspoon. Because there's sugar in the ketchup too. And that's it. Give this a stir. And I'm going to add the round bell pepper now too. Get that to start cooking with the hamburger. Don't mind all the photobombing here. Okay, so we're going to let that cook up. And then we'll add the sloppy joe mix as soon as it's done. And because this is the challenge, I have no buns. And I was really busy today, so I didn't get a chance to make any. So we have some leftover homemade bread that has to get used up, so we're just going to use that. And I have 2 pieces here that are still okay. I'm going to have to make more of the sandwich bread, I guess, next week. And we don't have any cheese for our potatoes, so I guess it's just going to be butter and salt tonight on them. I'm trying to think what else I might have that we can put on them. Let me go scrounging. My scrounging was successful. I forgot I had some Parmesan cheese in the freezer. A little icy, but I think it'll be okay. So I'll try and get that thaw out here enough that I can grate some, so we can have that with our baked potatoes. So it still has a few more minutes. All right, I'm going to get this thawed out a bit and grate that up so we can have it for our potatoes. Okay, hamburger's all done frying up. We're going to pour in our sloppy Joe mixture. Try to get all of it. I just put the baked potatoes back in the oven, in the warm oven, just to stay warm while I finish this. And I got some Parmesan cheese all grated for them. Incorporate all of this. And the only thing I haven't added yet is the salt, which I will do when this is done cooking, so I can test it and see how much it needs. Smells good. Okay, I'm going to see how much salt it needs. That's good. I don't think it needs any salt, honestly, but maybe just a pinch. Okay. Sloppy Joe's a la Lynn. Alright, I'm going to get the baked potatoes out and I will show you everything plated up. Okay, here's my husband's plate. Sloppy Joe and the homemade breads. Baked potato with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I did a little pantry leaven today and organized my pantry a little bit, and I forgot I had a jar of organic applesauce that I had bought before I made all mine. So we're going to eat that up with it. And that's it. That's the end of day 16. A simple meal, but nice and filling and warm on a cold January night. And simple. Took me all of, 20 minutes to make it, which is really good. So we will see you back here tomorrow for day 17. Take care. Happy Monday, friends. It is day 17 of Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, and we got a snowstorm, and I mean a snowstorm. It is actually the most snow we have seen in our area in over 10 years. They're saying 10 years on the news. The last time I remember a snowstorm this big, we were actually living in Ontario then, and our daughter was an infant, and my husband was on his second tour to Afghanistan, and it snowed and snowed and snowed for over a week straight. So that was 18 years ago that, that big storm happened. So we had a snow day today. My son was supposed to go back to physical school today after being online for the last 2 weeks. So snow days got me thinking about when I was a kid and the kind of snow days we would have. And thinking about that, I automatically start thinking about my grandmothers. My grandmother Lyons and my grandmother Tracy. And that got me thinking about my grandmother Tracy's blueberry cake. So I thought, I'm going to make Grammy Tracy's blueberry cake today, and I'm going to show all my friends in YouTube land how to make it. Before I start, this is my Grammy Tracy Doris right here. This was at my wedding almost 30 years ago. I love my Grammy Doris. You never know, just a few weeks after this picture was taken, she had her first major heart attack. Grammy died 13 years ago this March, actually it will be. Our son was just a week or so from turning 1. So I think when I think of her often, I usually have to make this cake. I think of her all the time, but in particular, I was really thinking of her today. So let's make Grammy's blueberry cake. It is delicious. It is so good. You're gonna love it. Okay, so I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I believe it's 350. Just double check. Yep. And I've greased 8x8 pan. Okay. So the first thing we have to do, I have it over here already in my mixer, is we have to mix up 2 egg whites. They're right there. Okay. We have to get them beat until they're nice and fluffy, almost like you're making a meringue. Okay, so we're gonna let that go till they get nice and fluffy and stiff peaks. So I forgot, you are gonna separate the yolks too and keep the yolks because you need the yolks for this recipe. So it's 2 egg whites and then the 2 yolks. So this is what it looks like after about 2 minutes. You can see it's not gonna come off of here. Like I really have to bang it to get that down. Okay, so that's after about 2 minutes with my mixer. So that's what you want it to look like. And then we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of the sugar, just the 1/4 cup. You are going to need a full, you're going to need a, oops, sorry, that was for the butter. You're going to need, where the heck is it? 1 cup of sugar, but you're just going to put a 1/4 in here and the 3/4 of it we will save for after. So we're going to get that mixed up. So there's the egg white mixture, and then we're going to go on to the part that takes the yolks. Okay, so in a separate bowl, we're going to do the 1/2 cup of butter, and this is softened, okay, because it makes it a lot easier to blend it in here. So there's a 1/2 cup of butter. Not yet. We don't add the egg yolks yet. Okay. So butter, the salt, which is a 1/4 teaspoon. That's the 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm just going to do 1/2. 1/4 teaspoon, and we need a teaspoon of vanilla. This is where we put the rest of the sugar in. So we need 3/4 cups of sugar. How do you do it? 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Okay, so we're just going to give this a quick blend just to kind of break that butter up a bit. And then we're going to put in our 2 egg yolks. Spatula here. Again, these are room temperature. I thought I had a towel here. Okay. All right. this up. Any butter and sugar that's come up here. It's all mixed up. I did forget to tell you, this does take a few bowls. So that's bowl 1, bowl 2, and now we're going to go on to bowl 3. Okay. And this is for the flour. Okay, so just a second, I gotta get a... So you have to sift the powder. I find this is the easiest way to do this, and it fits in my bowl perfectly. It's just a strainer, but it's a fine mesh strainer. That's fabulous. Okay, so we need to do 1.5 cups of flour. Which is right here. So there's 1. Okay, 1.5. And I forgot, I'm just going to put a few on the blueberries over there. So I have some blueberries here. They were frozen and they're really wet. Even if they're fresh, I just toss them in a little bit of flour so they don't all sink to the bottom of your batter. Okay. Flour. And in the flour, we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so 1, 2. We're just gonna, see, it does all the work for you. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Okay. Put my flour back over here. Oh, okay. So we're gonna, oh, and I forgot we need milk too. 1/3 cup of milk. Okay, so I got my 1/3 cup of milk. So we've sifted the flour, add milk. So we're gonna add this to this. That's our sugar and egg yolk mixture. Turn this on low. Then add our milk. Okay, now this is the tricky part because now we have to add our egg whites to this. But you're going to do it, we need to do it gently with a folding motion. So, not my strong suit sometimes. I always want to mix. I think that's why pie crust and I aren't the best of friends because I handle it too much. Really need another. Do I have another? Just a second. I don't know where all my rubber spatulas are, but I wash this one again real quick. I hate this one because this is the one where the head comes off the darn handle. You know, they're these kind, you know, ugh, that slide off. My other ones are all solid, so maybe they're all dirty, or somebody put them back where they're not supposed to be. That's totally possible. All right. So now we're going to add this to this. Let me see if I can get you a better angle to show you what I'm doing here. There we go. So we're just going to fold these in. So you don't want to really deflate the egg whites too much. But at the same time, you need to get it all incorporated. Switch again. Yeah, you dirty up a few dishes with this one, this recipe, but I promise you it's worth it. I think gardening and canning is what I got from my grandmother, Tracy, Grammy Tracy, because she always had a big garden. She always did pickles and chow chow and I think jams even. And she loved lilacs. She loved lilacs. And when we moved into the house, we planted a lilac tree in her name out front. And when it's blooming this May, I will show you it. We have several lilacs on our property, but that one I planted specifically out front for my Grammy Tracy. Okay, so now we gotta fold in 1.5 cups of blueberries. There, we're good. Okay. So we're going to put it into our greased 8x8 dish. Try and even them out a bit. So you can use wild blueberries. These are the high bush blueberries. This is very common here in Ontario. We picked these last summer. And I do have blueberry bushes growing, but I think it'll be a while before I can actually pick any from our own. So luckily we have, again, we live in a area where there's lots of different orchards and farms and pick your own places and people who raise cattle and pigs. We're very, very fortunate. We live so close. Okay, so there it is, all in a pan. So this is going to go into a 350 degree oven for 50 minutes. It does bake for a bit, and then when it comes out, I will show you the one thing I added that was not in my grandmother's original recipe, but I think it just makes it that much better. So we'll see you in about 50 minutes. I just wanted to talk because I didn't want to leave out my other grandmother. That is my grandmother Lyons. This is my father's mother. Grammy Tracy is my mom's mom. And this was on her 90th birthday. She will be 92 this April. Is it 92 or 93? Oh, time just has a way of getting away from me. And from Grammy Lyons, her name's Ruth. My daughter actually has her middle name is Ruth. I'm going to get emotional. I'm sorry. I haven't seen her in a little while. And she taught me the love of tea. Nanny always had tea, and whenever she had tea, she always had to put out something with it. Some little cookies, something, and I find I do that. She loved to bake, makes the best squash pie you've ever had. She also did canning, pickled beets. Oh, Nanny would always make me the pickled beets. I loved them. She also taught me a lot about faith. Nanny is a very faithful woman. My grandfather, who passed away a few years ago, he was actually the son of a minister who married my parents. My grandfather's father married my parents. He was a Baptist minister, Reverend Lyons. And Grammy and Grampy really taught me a lot about faith and family and God. And I'll be forever grateful for that. So, miss you, Gram, so much. She's not on the internet. She has no interest in that. I pray we get to see her this summer. I really do. She lives in the States in Maine. And I really hope the C word is over with enough that we'll be able to go visit and see her. So I just didn't want I didn't want to leave her out because she means just as much to me as Grammy Tracy did. So thank you for letting me talk about my grandmothers. Blueberry cake just came out of the oven and it took 50 minutes exactly, clean as a whistle. So the one thing I do that Nanny didn't do, Grammy, is cinnamon sugar. I just sprinkle a little bit on top when it first comes out. You know what? I don't do, I just realized I goofed. I do that before it goes in, when it's still just batter. So it won't be the first time, won't be the last time. So yeah, you would sprinkle that cinnamon sugar before you put it in. So that is something different that Nanny didn't do. Grammy didn't do that I do. I keep going through Grammy and Nanny because we called one grandmother Nanny and one Grammy. But anyway, yeah, so she didn't do the cinnamon sugar. I do. My family likes it. Where it's still warm, it might still go down a bit. But there we go. Grammy Tracy's blueberry cake. I hope you love it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. It's delicious. I know you're going to love it. I'll be back here in a little bit for supper tonight because I'm still doing the pantry challenge and it is day 17. So I'll see you in a little bit when it's supper time. It's supper time. I have my sous chef in the kitchen with me tonight. Grace is going to take care of the potatoes and the Instapot for me. And as I said earlier, it is day 17 of the Three Rivers Challenge, Pantry Challenge, and we're doing pork chops tonight. And I'm trying a new recipe because I'm so sick of everything. And it's called Easy Honey Garlic Pork Chops. So we're going to try them, and we're going to have mashed potatoes, and I think we're just going to have corn. A little bit. It's cold. My husband was out for 6 hours shoveling and snow blowing today. So something filling and hearty and easy is on the menu. And by the way, the blueberry cake turned out amazing. I had to try a little piece because Mom's going to make sure it's okay, right, before I give it to everybody. So, yeah, so it was really good. So, okay, so the first thing we do, so you can go ahead and start on your potatoes, Grace. I have 2 tablespoons of, now the recipe calls for olive oil, but I have some beautiful, beautiful lard, that baking fat that I got off our bacon this morning. I'll show you. Right there, liquid gold. The bacon was really good. That was from our pig order we got, which I hope that video shall be uploaded before this pantry video, and I'll show you how we got our quarter pig and everything. So instead of doing olive oil, I thought I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that and see how it works. So there's 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm not going to add the 1 tablespoon of butter because I think there's enough fat in this with this. Now I'm wondering though if I should have just done 3 tablespoons of the bacon fat. Okay. 6 cloves of garlic minced, and mine are already done. So you can see better. Okay. So, minced garlic, the oil. So that was 6 cloves of garlic and a 1/4 cup of honey. And I did spray my measuring cup with a little bit of oil so the honey just slides out. Okay. And 2 tablespoons. It says you can use rice wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar or any white vinegar. I'm going to use, I do have some rice vinegar, but I'm going to go ahead and use my apple cider vinegar. I just think it has more flavor, and apple and porks go together, so I think that was a little more than 2 tablespoons, but that's okay. As usual, Grace, I've spilled some. Okay, and 1/4 cup of water. 1/4 cup of water. Give this a stir. So I'm just reading the directions because this is a new recipe. So it told me to season the pork chops with a little bit of garlic powder, so I've done that, except for the one plain one for your brother. And then it just says to baste with this sauce and then bake. So I guess I'll get it baking for a few minutes and then I'll take it out and put some of the sauce on. Or am I just gonna go ahead? I might just pour it all over those pork chops. So these are the pork chops I'm cooking up. So these were 4 thick pork chops. So I said, oh, those are gonna take forever to cook and they're might get overcooked in some. So I just cut them all in half, which ended up giving me 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. So obviously there's gonna be lots left over, but that'll be lunch for later in the week. So I don't know, Grace, should we be a rebel and just, it's not very thick. Like, I don't know how, maybe I should add that extra tablespoon of bacon fat because it's not, I do have unsalted butter. Sorry, it is a new recipe. It's just, it's like a marinade. I wouldn't call this a sauce. You know what? The heck with it. It's going on them. Flavor's flavor, right? Okay. It smells good. Okay, so I got my oven at 350, right? 375. So we have it at 375. These won't take long to cook at all. So we better get the potatoes going, Grace. So there's your Instapot. Pop those babies in there. I'm going to get the pork chops in the oven. I'll do 10 minutes and then we'll check on them because they are a little bit thinner. And we got to get, so this is how I'm making the corn in my steamer. I got this at a thrift store because we just wore out the other one. It's from Black & Decker. We love this. Water. I'm going to add some corn to that. Plug it in over here. This is where my outlet is. Okay. So, Gracie, what are the directions for the Instapot? Where is it? Manual. Yep. And you're going to do 8 minutes. So the minus sign. Walk away. And it will kick in. There it goes. And there we go. In 8 minutes, we'll have potatoes cooked. And what? Gotta love a new recipe. So I've just been reading the instructions again because I knew there was something weird. That wasn't a sauce. And I thought that sauce should have been cooked like first to cook it down and make it into a sauce. So there's 2 kinds of directions on this. One of them is if you're baking them in the oven and one is if you're frying them. And I just went right to baked. And in very tiny print, it says, make your sauce follow the recipe above. So no wonder it wasn't a sauce. I knew that was wrong. Again, as I'm videotaping, I'm just thinking I'll go with it. You know, if I wasn't videotaping, I might have thought for a second and thought this wasn't right. Corn's done. But yeah, so we will just go with it. I'll still share the recipe, absolutely. But this is what they look like. Kinda. There they are. don't look a whole lot different than my son's, which is plain because there's no glaze, but hopefully they'll have some flavor. You gotta love those days when things just don't work in the kitchen, right? You gotta laugh about them. So, okay, so nothing fancy. Here we go. We got the pork chop. Got those mashed potatoes, some corn that I steamed, and some applesauce I made from this last fall. And these are pickles from last summer. 2 summers. We're finally getting our way through them. I think there's 2 jars left, and then we can start on last summer's. So there we go. End of day 17. We don't eat fancy here, do we? The pork was really good. I'll definitely make it again, only this time I'll make sure to make it right as a sauce, because it definitely would have been nice with that sticky sauce, but the flavor was good, so we liked that. And I did want to show a piece of the cake out of the pan, so I'm going to show you that. So here's a slice of it. It smells really good, and I think I might have a taste tester walking by. Okay, Grace, what do you think? Is it good? Nanny's blueberry cake. It's always a hit.